Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Melody McAllister, and I'm so excited about tonight's book chat with my dear friend Jillian Dubois, who was last here with Liv's Seashells, or no, I'm sorry, Liv's Shells. I'm sorry, through her publishing imprint Imparted Joy, and also, oh my gosh, I totally flubbed that. I wish we could. Is it live? Can we do this over?
No, okay, yeah, let's start over.
It's live. Okay, I'm just gonna start over. Okay,
I
but
love
no, I'm
it.
just joking. Jillian was last here with Liv's Shells, and through her publishing imprint, Imparted Joy, author Molly Schaefer and Jillian bring us Destiny's Amazingly Different Dreams, which just launched this past February. These amazing authors bring us a heartfelt story of a young lady who, although different in how she expresses herself, still has so much to share with her friends and community. I couldn't think of a better book for April's book chats to welcome Autism Acceptance Month, and next week follow suit with I Can Just Not Like You by Abigail Edmonds and Sandcastle Books. So please come back next week. If you've been part of the last two lives, you know that we've been talking about the journey to loving ourselves. And I love that these books are the books that through their representation and understanding help us as young people learn how to love ourselves. And I love that it's a part of this journey. So Molly and Jillian, it's so great to have you here tonight. How are you? And can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us. No, Molly and I, believe it or not, have never met. And we got together several months ago. We've been friends for a long time on social media. And we got together and I had written a blog about my son being recently diagnosed on the autism spectrum. And I had written that blog, and Molly happened to read my blog, and she's like, "Hey, can we chat?" So we did. We hopped on a Zoom call together, and she told me her story. I told her mine. We collaborated, and I said, "Molly, we've got to write a book." And she's like, "What? Me? I'm not sure I can do that." I'm like, yeah, you can." So we got together, and gosh, what, Molly, it was like 4 months. I think
4 months, 5 months, something like that.
Yeah. And we put together Destiny's story, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Well, that's amazing. So Molly, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm a middle school Spanish teacher. I have a lot of experience with differences because I have a difference myself. And I just want to make an impact in this world and show these kids that it's okay to be different and it's okay to love yourself for the exact person you are.
Oh gosh, you just gave me goosebumps. Thank you for saying that. I love that so much. And Jillian, tell us a little bit about your background as well.
Yes, I'm an educator. I teach second grade here in Clearwater, Florida. I started my own journey to writing and illustrating and publishing about a year and a half ago. And it just has kind of taken off. But the main thing that I really want to do and the main thing that I really desire is to help other people spark their stories. So this actually was the first journey I've been able to take with another author to spark a story, and what a story it is, because, we all have those messages inside of our heart and we don't really even know that we need to share them. We don't know really who needs to hear them, even if it's one person that reads our story and is, getting some understanding or feeling, hey, this is me, then our job is done. This is what it's all about. We need to put ourselves out there and just share from our heart because somebody needs to hear it.
I love that. And you said that you all have never met like in person, like you've been friends for years. So tell me a little bit how you put this book together virtually.
Go ahead.
A lot of Zoom chats. A few messages traded back and forth. It was one of those things that kind of just everything fell the way we needed it to fall. And it was like Jillian would give me an idea and I'd come up with a text, or she would be like, "Okay, I have this text here that's written. What about a picture for this?" And I'm like, "Well, let's do this in the picture." And before long, it was like we had a real book. And I became a real author, which if you had told me 8 months ago that I was going to be an author, I would have probably laughed at you and said, "What are you talking about?" I don't enjoy writing. ELA was definitely my weakest subject in school. And I never thought that I could do anything like this. And I also never thought, I'm like, I would want to read my stuff anyways. But now I'm coming to find out that a lot of people want to read my stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna make me cry. Holy moly. So, number one, congratulations on writing such an amazing book that has been well received and it's so needed. You know, representation is so important. I keep saying so, but I mean, but it's true. You know, a lot of kids for many years have not seen themselves in books. And I think that's a part of the journey of loving yourself, like both of you we've talked about. So, tell us a little bit more, like, how did you come up with the illustrations? You talked about little nuggets. Is it okay if I show one of your favorite illustrations? Do you have?
Sure.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite? Which is the one we talked about this one?
That one, and I like the one at the end with all the signs, the we
Mm,
are. That's my favorite.
this one.
I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to put some big. I'm gonna try to
So
here.
some of the illustrations actually, so what Molly and I do is we set up, and this is what I do, is set up Google Slides, and this just says we are. These are all the little characters that are in throughout the book, along with Destiny. She's down here at the bottom. But we are capable, authentic, creative, brave, giving, radiant, and so much more. There are just so many little parts to all this. Molly and I, seriously, like I don't even think we ever even had a disagreement about what was going to go in this book. She would come to me and I would, we'd write something down and I'd say, well, what do you think about this? And she's like, well, yeah, how about this? And I mean, it was just one of those things. And as an illustrator, it's often very difficult to try and tell someone's story through pictures. Pictures are a huge part of an illustrated children's book or a picture book. And trying to get to the heart and trying to really translate someone's heart and translate someone's story through pictures. We just found that it was just super easy for us. Like, I don't think it's almost like it was like a dream collaboration. I don't think it will ever be this simple again, but we would put all of our ideas into a Google Drive folder and she would add things, I would add things. We worked through Google Slides. It would be page 1, illustration 1, page 2, illustration 2. So, and then when it was finished, we kind of went back through it and made a few little tweaks here and there, and that was it.
Well, that's incredible. Like, you'd hardly ever hear stories like that.
Mm-mm.
What was the most challenging part of all of this? Or I mean, it was easy, but there had to be something. You said it was easy. For most of us, like, that's not easy. What you just said is not easy, but I get it. The flow of coming together was a lot easier than you thought. But was there anything that was kind of challenging about it or that grew you a little bit more than you thought it would?
I think just putting the words out there for me, because, obviously with me having a difference and maybe being not so keen on sharing much about it, I've really grown myself in accepting my difference and being more than okay with the fact that I'm different.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how, all this came about. We just have this commonality between us because we have, a connection to neurodiversity. And it was just like, well, how can we really bring this forward? But it is going to take, and I remember, telling Molly, I'm like, it is going to take some vulnerability. And she's like, I'm not sure I'm ready to do that.
I was scared to tell my parents.
Yeah. And I remember we had several conversations and you were scared to tell your parents, and tell her, if you feel free to share with her what, happened after that.
Okay. So it was weighing on me pretty heavily that I was going to put this story out, and I didn't tell a soul. Like, I didn't tell my parents. I told one of my best friends, maybe a couple other people. So I finally get the courage to call my dad, who's my biggest cheerleader and supports me on everything. And I felt that weight come off my shoulders as I was hands-free on the phone driving to church that morning, and I got hit.
Wow.
Yeah, like, I got hit that morning, and I'm like on the phone with my dad. Again, it's not the first time I've been hit on the phone with my dad. And he's, of course, then wants to drive all the way up here. My dad lives in Florida. I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. He's like, are you sure you're still going to sign the contract on the book? I said, yep, we're signing that this afternoon, assuming I can make it home. And so it just
Wow.
was like, it was one weight comes off my shoulders, another one comes on it. The car is now fixed too. So
Yeah. And you're obviously okay.
I'm okay. Yeah.
More than okay.
Yeah, I'm more than okay at this point.
And your dad was so excited. I remember you saying your parents were just like ecstatic, like they
Oh,
couldn't.
they were absolutely thrilled. My mom, who's not very emotional, cried. She's like, "I can't
Yeah.
believe you're gonna have enough courage to put this out there. We're proud of you. We're gonna support you no matter what." And that's what meant the world to me. After that, I was like, "Okay, anything can happen with this book."
Ah, I love that. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Do you want to get a little bit? I'm like, so I'm on the verge of tears all up in my eyes. It should make my makeup run, but it's okay if it does. It does. It does. Would you like to share a little bit with your book, like through an author read?
Sure. I mean,
Sure.
why
All
not?
right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually go behind the scenes so that Jillian can hold up and I'll put you big again so that everybody can see the beautiful illustrations. And then Molly, if you'll just read, is that okay?
Yeah, that works great.
And if it, you know what, I've already fumbled so much. So if there's any difficulties, I did it worse. Don't worry. Part is the message. The most important part of this is the message.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go under and I'll meet you back up very soon.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Hey, Molly, let's start here and
Okay, I've got it pulled.
we'll read to the end of the book.
Sounds good.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't worry about judging others or putting people in boxes. I normally see others exactly as I view everything else, with so many details. All people are unique and special, and I like to see them with kindness and compassion. Just like my friends and family, I have huge dreams to follow. I'm not sure what I want to be yet, but I know that I am not going to let my exceptional brain stop me from achieving my goals.
Oh, there's one part of it.
Who knows what the future holds? Maybe I'll make a discovery that makes the world a better place. Maybe I'll come up with a creative way to do something because I have an ability to shift my thinking. Some may not consider the benefit at first, but when they see the results, their minds will be blown.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. I'm ruining the story here.
Whatever I decide, I know that I will dedicate myself to serving others selflessly. It brings me joy when other people know that they are loved and respected. What a dream, right? If I can accomplish this small task, what a big difference I could make. My ideas and goals might appear more diverse, but it doesn't make them less special. Embrace differences. Generously give everyone a chance. Every person should be allowed to run after his or her own extraordinary dreams and passions. There is plenty of room for them all. Anything is possible.
Boop. That's it.
That is beautiful. Yay. That was so wonderful. Do you feel like when you're reading that you're like reading your heart? Like it's just like I can tell, like it's all the emotion in your voice, the story, the illustrations are just beautiful. And Jillian, you like that's your writing. It's not like some font that you type, is it?
Oh, it's a font.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
Wow.
I figured out how to do different fonts. I know I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah. But it's really funny, when you go back and you look through these things and it's like all just the little things that we put in here. Like we both love cupcakes. So we had a page that had cupcakes.
Could
Right.
use a
And
cupcake right now.
I love cupcakes.
And this one with Destiny standing in the box, she has actually Harry Potter's like Ravenclaw colors because we're both Ravenclaws. So, like little things like that. And then the candies, there's little candies on every page.
You should see the paper I had to put all those candies on there.
It was Molly's idea to have a little visual trigger on every page. And that's something I kind of do with all my books. But I'm like, okay, Molly, what should we do? Because I'm like, that's my thing. We have to have it. So she's like, okay, here it is. They have to be prime numbers on every page. So here is, and you have to have, literally every page is,
And I went
it's
through and labeled, like,
yeah,
not just, like, how
not just
many
how many.
Skittles, they all had to be a certain color because I have to eat them in a certain color order. Because this all came up over a picture of Skittles that we talked about one day, and she had put them in piles like I do because I have to put mine in piles because if I dare eat a red one and a green one together, it's not good. It's not good because I can taste the difference between a red and a green. I know they're supposed to all taste the same. They don't.
Mhm.
They don't.
Oh,
And
I
so,
love it. I just throw them in my mouth. I mean,
no, no, no,
Oh
no,
no, yeah, don't tell
no,
Molly that.
no.
but no, I will never do it from now on. I will put it in a pile and I will think of Molly. That is so what is your favorite color of Skittle?
Purple,
Nice.
What's her least
Purple.
favorite color?
yellow. They're the yucky yellows. It tastes
I'm
like
not kidding. Like, we learned so much about each other through all of this that, and we even text each other when we open a bag of Skittles. We'll text each other our Skittles lined
and
up.
even better if you get the wild berry pack, the purple pack of Skittles.
Yeah,
Those are
there's so many
those are
purples.
spot on.
That's
My kids are
that's
known to
So,
leave a couple of them on my desk every now and then.
so the very last page has all the Skittles
okay.
from.
I'm gonna try to make it big again. I'm sorry. Just bear with me.
So we were like, well, how are we going to make this all come together? And what's the last page going to look like? And so these are the 163 Skittles that are scattered throughout the whole book, all the colors and everything to, yes, perfection. So
That is so cool. I love the detail that you put into this, the love and the detail.
yeah.
It shows so much of your heart and your personality, and it really is a celebration. And I feel like Skittles says it's a celebration in your mouth. Is that Skittles? I don't know.
Rainbow in your mouth or something like that. Yeah.
Taste
And
the rainbow.
we couldn't, yes, that's right.
No.
And we
Right,
couldn't say Skittles. So yeah, they're
right.
just candies, but yeah, but
Well, I love that. And I bet your students love you so much, Molly, because you have such a fun way of like thinking through things. And how did they receive your story?
Well, they're all telling their parents to buy copies of the book now and bring it to me to sign. So I always keep my purple flare pen on me so I can sign books whenever I need to. And they're so funny because like they think they're going to catch me without it. I said, "You're never going to catch me without this because I know about this book being out. I didn't just, you know,
You're
say, oh,
prepared,
here's a book." And we
right?
actually, my school dedicated 5 copies to the library in
Oh,
this big
and had a
celebration.
party. They gave her a party in her honor. Like
Well, they gave me a party with no people at it, which is exactly how I would have
I
preferred that done. Because I do not do, if there's two things in life that I don't do, it's public attention and surprises.
wow. And yet you're here tonight. So kudos to you.
Yeah, this is not easy. I
I
will admit
I,
this is
I
not easy.
believe it. Thank you for being here. I
Oh, yeah.
love that so much. And kudos to your school for doing that for you because I know that that's not necessarily what happens for others. So
No,
that's really
I'm very blessed. I've been at the same school my entire 14-year career. And if things keep going the way they do, I'll do my entire career in one school.
I love it. I love it so much. And Jillian, how did your students react to another story that you brought forth? You've brought like how many stories at this point in the year?
yeah, wow, gosh, and like it's this is the fourth one, and
That's
there's a couple of others in the hopper. But they love it, and it's fun for them. And of course, they had to stop and count every single little candy on every page. And but I think that the thing is when you're sharing a story, kids see themselves. And even if it's just one there, or if it's just one thing in a book that they're connecting with, they don't have to connect to the whole story, but you just see that little sparkle in their eye and you see that light click on, and it's just there's something in your heart that just smiles because you've touched somebody. And we obviously, and Melody, this too, we don't author books because we want the attention. We author books because we have, that special message to share. And we're not making a lot of money. We don't, that's not our purpose. Our purpose is just to get out there and just to share. And I know, Molly, I know this is hard for you. And I know there have been things that have been hard for you. We went live together on YouTube. and did a live thing to promote the book. But you think about, like, Molly, I was like, think about where you were like a year ago, compared to today, and how many people's lives have been sparked with joy because of what you've done, and the courage and the bravery and that you have shown. And I just think that's just such a wonderful model and example for so many people. So I hope anybody who's watching this or hearing this can just understand that, yes, being different, y'all, it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. It's better. It's better than good. It's better than being typical, because it's pretty incredible.
I thought, when I was a kid, that everybody could do some of the things that I could do. So I thought everybody just memorized a calendar.
Yeah.
Thought everybody
Calendar
just memorized people's license plates for fun.
and phone numbers and dates
Phone
of birth. And
Oh, yeah.
Molly, do you connect with students differently as well? Do you feel like you are able to see when students are struggling?
I
And
absolutely can. And I think that's a lot of reason that a lot of these kids come to me with different things that they aren't necessarily comfortable going to other people. But they'll come right to me and say, hey, I need to talk to you about this. Or, hey, I think you might understand this. I mean, I teach middle school. So, they're all kind of trying to feel themselves out. Yeah. Talk about insanity. I thought I would never teach middle school. I said, nope, that's a joke. I'm not teaching middle school. 14 years later, still teaching middle school and not planning to leave anytime soon. But they will come to me with they'll be really vulnerable to me, and I will reflect that to them, and I will bounce it right back, and I'll say, hey, look, I know what you're going through. I've been there. Or, hey, I've seen this before. What can I do to help you? What can I do to best support you? You just tell me what you need, and I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. That's what I'm going to do.
that's incredible. And I know that everybody needs that, especially our young people that are going through adolescence, and it's probably the most confusing time of our lives. So I'm so glad that you're there for them. And this month is Autism Acceptance Month, and I've been learning so much about autism in the last few months. And I can't share like publicly what has been going on in my life because it's a story that is not mine, but it just brings me so much joy to learn even more and to know that, we are actually with people who are autistic, like all over. Like there are some incredible celebrities and history, like in history. Like autism is a gift in a lot of ways, and so we know that now. I think it's got a bad rap previously, but there's so much more. And I just wanted to hear your ladies, your thoughts about this month and about how your book fits in with all of it.
It happened to just come out at the right time, to be honest. Like, I had not even heard of Autism Awareness or Acceptance Month until last week. So I'm like, wow, if that was not a destined thing to happen, wow. And, it has just led to, again, that the awareness, when we have that awareness, and even when we do see it in our own family, and we're able to go, it's almost like a burden has been lifted off, because you're able to go, oh, well, okay, you're not just odd, you're not just quirky, you are gifted, you are celebrated for just being you. Now I see all of those things that I thought were kind of weird when you were growing up. It's my own child. It's like, now I understand. And it's almost like he feels that too. He feels that acceptance and like, okay, well, finally I have a label, because I never had a label before. 23 years I went without anybody telling me, what exactly this was. And now we're involved in groups and in social groups and friendship groups that we are all getting so much support and encouragement from one another. So it's just great. That's the whole, if that was the only reason that this came out, that's, there it is.
And when were you writing this, when you found out about your son or before?
I wrote the blog in September because we had just found out. So, and then Molly had read the
remember
blog.
that you said you guys all laughed. You're like, oh, like it was
Yes.
just such a relief.
Yeah, we went through the checklist and went, oh, yeah. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me too. Oh, yeah. I don't disrupt my organization. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My room's a mess. Oh, yeah. all these things. And we're like, phew, wow, this is great. So, Molly, what about you?
Well, I am in a similar boat with Jillian's son, except I went even longer before I was finally told of diagnosis that I knew. I had known since I was probably 12, 13 years old and had started reading up on it. But I was 12, 13 years old when there wasn't such positivity surrounding the gifts that include being on the autism spectrum. And so I wasn't diagnosed until 30.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and
it's
it's
so
every
hard.
year it gets to be a less weight on my shoulders because it's like, I know what I've got. I know what I'm going to do with this. I know what I need to do to make myself better. And I know what I need to do to help people understand me.
Yeah.
And the world needs our voice. I think in the world, especially Melody, with there's nothing for young adults out there
Mhm.
who are going through all of this, especially if they're just coming into the age of understanding what they're going through and transitioning into. Because when you have all kinds of resources if you are, 0 to 18. Once you kind of age out at 18, there's not a whole lot out there for adults. It's kind of like you're kind of on your own. So it is truly, something that is needed in this, in this day and time. But
Yeah, totally agreed. And Molly, something that you're saying that I want to just kind of like blast out there is that you knew. And I just like, I think that is so amazing to know that you have qualities that are different, like you say, but they're different in an amazing and magical way. Like they give you these abilities that are different and wonderful. It's just, and young people, sometimes we don't give them enough credit. Like I wish I could. Oh gosh, I can't wait till the. Anyway, we're gonna have a conversation, so don't drop off once this live ends. I want to tell you so much. It's hard for me to keep it all in, but I just think that our young people are so smart and information is so available that they know when they're not fitting in sometimes, or there's something, or their friends talk about their lives and something resonates with them. They start digging and they're like, "Wow, this could be me as well." I've heard stories like that. And what I love about what we're talking about is that young women are usually diagnosed much later in life, if they are ever diagnosed with autism.
That is
Um,
so true.
like I think I was watching somebody on TikTok and she said that she was diagnosed at 15, and that is actually a really early diagnosis.
Yes, it is.
wow.
Mhm. And
Yes,
we're
it is.
just the research is just like it's coming up now, but we don't necessarily have a very good base like for a diverse part of this, all the research. So yeah, I love that. We're getting close to the end, and I'm really emotional right now. Oh, Linda, hi, Linda. Thank you for joining in from Toronto.
Oh,
Linda.
Joined us. I always ask everybody that comes onto my lives, is there anything that you want to share that maybe we didn't talk about, but it's on your heart before we say goodbye?
anything? If
Anything?
it's anything. No, I'm kidding. No, I just, it just, again, whenever we can, talk about the things that are important to us, it's just, gosh, it just fills your heart, and I hope, I mean, who knows what, I mean, Molly, I just have so much respect for you, and I just have so much love for you. And, even not meeting in person, we are so connected, and it just goes to show you that you can have a relationship, you can build a healthy relationship with someone on social media. You get in the right space and you connect. And I'm telling you, it's changed my life. It really has. So thanks for being my friends.
Yes. Molly, do you have anything you'd like to say? It is okay if you don't.
I mean, I just want to add to piggyback onto Jillian. This doesn't happen without it.
I think you froze.
Did we lose her?
I
Man, she
think
was going to say something nice about me
I know it's
too.
gonna be so
Hello?
great. Technology. Like,
Hello?
Oh, there she is.
Anybody home?
yeah, we can hear
Oh
you
no, I'm
now.
here by myself. I don't know if I like this.
We can see you and hear you.
Hello?
Yes. Can you
And
hear
can
us?
I'm
hear
going
you.
to piggyback off what Jillian said. There are
Yes,
times
go
that
ahead.
social media can be used for good, and this was one of them. I mentioned earlier, if you had told me 8 months ago I was gonna
Oh man,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we
be an author. She would never have said, yeah, she that was what she was gonna say.
right. I am so grateful that you two joined me tonight, especially just it was just a fast turnaround. So thank you. This was a meaningful conversation. Don't drop off. Okay. I want to get a picture. Oh, Molly is here. I'm going to bring
I
her
don't
back
know
up.
what
Hey, Molly.
happened there. Something bad happened.
Yay, there you are. You're back.
Yes. And we heard you said you were piggybacking off of what Jillian said. Do you want to finish it or?
Yes, I was piggybacking off of Jillian that social media can be used for good. Now, I am not a fan of social media and have become less and less of a fan of social media over the last probably 5 years or so, to the point where I really don't post anything except for doing my teacher Twitter chats on Twitter, which I do enough of those that you can see me on Twitter. But, I've had to re-explore Facebook because people kept tagging me in this book. They're like, "Oh, I've got Molly Schaefer's book and this is beautiful." And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to kind of put it out there. Surprise, I'm an author. And
That's
I
awesome.
I heard from friends from my first neighborhood when I was 5 years old saying they were buying the book for their kids.
Yeah.
And if I don't put that out there, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, don't drop off. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you both for joining me tonight. And thank you, everybody who's watching during the live or the replay. We will be back next week with another amazing book, I Can, Just Not Like You. And we are celebrating differences and other children's stories. So please tune in and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.